There we go. I will use that, Jackie, as a segue into today is, I don't even know what prompted this, but there's so many nuances, as we know, you guys know as leaders, in running what I'm going to frame as a coaching business. No different than you helping your agents run a real estate business, right? Not just selling homes. We want to level that thinking and way of operating up. I find that to be true oftentimes with coaches, especially as well. A lot of coaches, God love you. We have a heart of a servant. We love to see other people win. And yet, sometimes we forget behind the act of coaching, there's a difference between running a coaching business and just being a coach and doing coaching, right? And so, all that to be said, that's what inspired today is just one of the many nuances that maybe we don't think about all the time is like, wow, I'm hopefully onboarding, bringing in a steady flow of new people, especially into a productivity coaching program. And it's like I'm juggling all these balls of growth and all the existing agents I've got in my program, and what am I talking about any given week with each of them, plus group coaching curriculum, and on and on and on. This right here, I think, is one of the most overlooked, underestimated, and yet insanely important aspects that, yes, Gary Keller would be proud, we can and should systematize. And so, those of you that don't know me, quick intro, I guess. Obviously, my name is Jake, but former Keller Williams team leader for a number of years, former Keller Williams productivity coach for a number of years. And that is actually where I got to know the Jamie Johnsons of the world, is because I ran a very successful PC program in my office of Fort Mill, South Carolina, and had this vision to expand that into other locations. Just at the time that Gary Keller was preaching ESO and expansion systems orientation for teams, I'm like, well, why couldn't we do the same thing except for PCs? And we did. So we grew that to supporting about 300 Keller Williams PC programs in a short number of years. And we've just been doing the same thing ever since. So I'm owner of The Locker Room, just recently launched an owner operator of the Coaches Brokerage, like Jackie and Brittany are part of that, and just having fun, still doing the dang thing after all these years. And I credit Jamie Johnson and so many others who were there at the humble beginnings of it all, because we certainly wouldn't be where we are and who we are without the contribution of so many coaches along the way. So grateful for that. And back to today's topic, this was born out of frustration. This was born out of necessity. Okay, so how many of you can experience or have experienced what I did, which was what I was saying of, my gosh, I'm doing all these things, juggling all these balls. About 6 months in, I'm like, I got to figure out a better way. I've got to start to systematize things and create a consistent, duplicatable, and scalable process, starting with what does my intake look like? And how can I get that new person, that new agent, into production quickly, but not just quickly for the sake of saying we got their first deal, but in a sustainable, long-term way of thinking. All right. Allows them to get on the right footing and allows me to be on the right footing with them right out of the gate. Some of this was also inspired at the same time of me feeling all of this like chaos when I attended, coincidentally, I know Mega Camp's coming up, a PC breakout session. And in the room comes Tony DeCello. Many of you know who Tony DeCello is. And he issues this challenge to this room of productivity coaches. And I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for a challenge. Okay. And he said, I bet, or I challenge you that you can't get uh, agents into production within their first 30 days. A brand new agent, fresh out of licensing school, onboarded into Keller Williams and into your PC program, I dare you to see if you can run the 4 minute mile. Okay. And so goes. I was like, all right, I'm feeling this way. Tony's issuing a challenge. Those two worlds collide. Let's figure out this system. And I figure I'm going to slow it down enough on the front end to speed it up on the back end so we can hit some major traction and milestones. And my best month ever as a productivity coach in my office was July of 2017. We closed 80, that's 80 homes in that month in the PC program. We closed 523 my first year for 124 million in volume. 3.6 million of GCI, and $1 million of company dollar. And we duplicated that success 2 more consecutive years after that. I'm not saying this to flex. I'm saying that anything I share today is tested, it is duplicatable, it is systematized, as long as you know how to follow the Yellow Brick Road and implement what I'm sharing today. All right.
Jake, how many people were in your PC program during that
95 to
time?
105 at any given time.
Okay.
Yep. And I did not, it always pissed me off. Sorry. I don't have a filter. So when, you'd have other PCs out there like, oh, we did 50 cappers this year from our program. Like, yeah, right. All you did, and was true, is you recruited 3/4 cappers, half cappers in your program, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're kind of staking claim to something. So I was proud to say we created 22 to 25 any given year, true first year in the business cappers, not just riding the coattails of a 3/4 capper who was probably going to cap anyways, kind of thing. That's
Okay.
just probably my ego talking and getting in the way, but whatever. So really proud of our results, obviously, and more importantly, proud of the results we've helped Jamie Johnson, Mary Lou Dingman, and countless other people achieve in their programs as well along the way. So, okay. That's, again, not a flex. It's, if anything, validity and credibility to what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So you guys ready to dive in? Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Today is not your typical training. It's more of a show and tell. Okay. I'm just going to set the tone appropriately. So yes, please engage with me, ask questions, interrupt me at any time. But you're going to see I'm not going to go full presentation mode on my screen because I'm going to be bouncing in and out of my PowerPoint slide deck, if you will. So I want to share a lot of tools and examples with you. And before you can ask it, yes, I'm going to send many of these things, including the replay and other items that I'll demonstrate today as a follow-up email. Okay. All right. So again, today is architecting the first four coaching sessions. Why the first four? This was learned experience. You guys may have a different take on this, but from my experience, I figure if I can create a system using Gary Keller's famous quote, if you do something 2 or more times, you should create a system for it. Through trial and error and experimentation, 4 felt right. Why? Because after I share what I'm going to share with you today, it felt as if sessions 5 and beyond would kind of take a life of their own. It was very tailored, very customized, very individualized to the person and their goals and their behavioral style. So I didn't want to create this like robotic program for eternity, but could I run every agent who's new to me in the program through the same things in the first 4 sessions? The answer became yes, and it lit the world on fire as far as performance and production. I think this is deserving of a lot of credit. So first things first, however, you guys agree with this, I trust, but my thesis, my underlying way of thinking, philosophy, was this, the famous quote: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That was embedded in everything that I did. Every decision that I made ran through that filter. So that's really important to point out here, because in a minute, you're going to see how session one of 4, is all about the individual. Okay. All about the individual. John Maxwell, he says pretty smart things from time to time, and I'm going to butcher his exact words, but something to the effect of, as leaders, we have to first connect with the person's heart before we can expect to connect with their head. And we know this stuff. But how do we put that in practice as coaches? Because we want to go, 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 go. Our heart wants to see this person win immediately. That sometimes we bypass getting to know the human and connecting with their heart, and we just go straight into fix it mode. We want to go straight into, okay, so what are your goals and what's your 1-3-5? We're going to get there, but I believe I've got to connect with the person, the human side of them first, which is why I will segue that into session 1 here. But again, visually speaking, sessions 1 through 4 is the equivalent of pulling the arrow back, slowing down on the front end, so that sessions 5 and beyond is where we're going to see that hockey stick acceleration happening. And as I mentioned before, from my experience anyway, with this, sessions 5 and beyond really take a life of their own because now they're taking action. We get in real-time feedback. Now I have things I can actually coach to, unique to the individual. Thoughts, questions so far? Doing okay? Setting the table here. All right. Now let's talk about that session 1. Again, I'm going to refer to this as just getting to know the person. So there's a lot of things happening here. I like to leave plenty of time for this so it doesn't feel rushed. So I'm not talking about a 30-minute wham bam in out session here. Generally, I would budget an hour, hour and a half. Some of you chatty Cathys out there, maybe you need 2 hours. I don't know. You'll figure that out. But there's a couple things happening here. The entire basis of the first meeting, imagine yourself sitting across the desk or on a Zoom with this person for the very first time, is again connecting with their heart, building rapport, creating a solid foundation. So what does that look like? Well, on the left-hand side, I'm going to show some of this. Here's what I did in this first session. 5 core elements. I'm going to, I had a questionnaire, I'll show that here in a minute, in something that I called the Passport to Success. So as I'm just organically asking questions, I've got this on my desk, I'm filling it out. It's not like an interrogation. Some questions I may ask, some I just may skip. It's very organic and conversational. But the point is, I have a template of questions to get to know the real person, and I'm making note of those things as they're speaking. Okay? That's what's going on there. That's what that means. And again, oh, you don't see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, everybody else sees my screen, Lindsay. So I'm
going to jump out and jump back in and see if that.
Okay.
And see what's going on.
Yep, no worries. Thanks for saying something. And I'll share that here in just a second. Then part of that first meeting, assuming that maybe part of your onboarding experience, once they join Keller Williams, maybe your director of agent services or somebody, at least in our situation, was tasked with having them take a behavioral assessment. Maybe it's the KPA, maybe it's a DISC, you pick your poison, doesn't matter. But I would also integrate that as part of my conversation with the person to, again, connect at the human level. I'm validating it in a condensed, simplified manner. If any of you have gone through career visioning, that sort of thing. Basically what I did without, spending an hour on just that is I just flipped through the narrative sheet and I would go through a couple sentences at a time and say, tell me more about this. Does this accurately describe you? How has this shown up? Can you give me an example or two in your life when? Right? So that's the validation process, and it really bonds us together when we do that. So far, I've done a quick little get to know you questionnaire. Now I'm going to transition into validating a behavioral assessment that hopefully they did prior to coming in. Now, go ahead, Jamie.
Question for you. We usually send them the KPA right when they enroll. We have issues with people not doing it.
Ooh.
Like, they just don't do it. And then no matter how many times we ask them, hey, make sure that you do this, and or we resend it to them because they say they didn't get the link, whatever it may be, we have just problems with people actually filling it out. Do you have a trick to talk them into doing that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I think this would be a market center leadership team discussion, maybe at one of your upcoming team meeting or leadership meetings, is A, who owns it? Because if more than one person owns it, that means nobody does. And it doesn't have to be you. Maybe it's your director of agent services, your director of first impressions. I don't care. Somebody needs to own it.
Right. So like the person that onboards them sends them the link, and then we as the PC, we validate their KPA.
So the person who sent it, in my view, needs to own it.
Okay.
That whoever that is needs to own it. Because here's, I guess, my other comment to that. This is the discussion amongst you in leadership. This must come up in the recruiting conversation with your TL or whoever's doing that, hey, y'all need to take a stance on, is this a suggestion or is this a standard? Because if it is a standard, you don't meet with coach until this is done. You're only delaying your own success. This is vital. And that expectation should have been set prior to you talking with them in the first place. This is what we do. Failure to do it is going to only delay your success and. So is it a suggestion or is it a standard? And if it lands in the standard protocol, then yes, whoever's sending it needs to be all over that, following up, making sure it gets checked so that they can finally book that for this first meeting with you. That makes sense? Okay. Great question. So once I've done that throughout, I'm going to get probably glimpses into it, but I have an official big why conversation, big why exercise. Again, this first meeting is just gathering intel, getting to know them and on their level. How can I not dive into? So tell me why you got into real estate. What was going on in your world that prompted you to want to go into business for yourself? What does the future look like when you absolutely crush your first year, second year, and beyond in real estate? How's that going to transform your life, your lifestyle, your family? I'm just going to ask questions to gather their big why. And then finally, once I've done this is all very emotional. Wouldn't you guys agree? I'm getting to know the individual here. Towards the tail end, well, Jake, how much time? If I had to give you, maybe these last two items were 15 or 20 minutes. So the lion's share of this time is spent on the left, letting them speak, and I'm listening. We're connecting along the way. Before they leave my office, however, I would then, after all this, then bust out the PC agreement and go through expectations, having the expectation dialogue. Here's what I expect of you. Here's what you can expect of me. We're good, yada, yada. And then finish it by saying, now pull out your planner or pull up your Google Calendar and let's go ahead and establish your next several weeks or whatever, including we've got a team meeting next week. Put it on your calendar. We got group coaching on Thursday. Put it on your calendar. Oh, by the way, let's schedule our next one-on-one with each other. What works for you? So I'm literally having them with their calendar or pulled up on the computer, plugging things in before they walk out of my office. Go ahead, Brittany.
Jake, so with I might have lost my question. How often, so you have your first 4 sessions we're talking about today. Do you have a requirement of how quickly those sessions are completed with them? And then how do you interact with your dual career agents to meet those milestones?
Really great question. So I held everybody. So my standard with this, and I can't believe I left that out, actually, this was a weekly rhythm. So 4 sessions, AKA your first month. Boom, 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 boom. Now that doesn't mean sessions 5 and beyond have to be every week. I know some of you guys do it all different ways. Okay. But I would at least accelerate this, and it just fits nice and neat within a month time frame anyways, because we got to move. We got to get this stuff done. And what Diana Kokoski used to say, right? All work will expand to fill the time allowed.
Yep.
So I'm going to compress time. Even we got a lot to get to. This is just session 1, but this would be best done in a week by week cadence, 4 consecutive weeks. And then you can modify it with sessions 5 and beyond, however you choose to do that.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So let me show you a few examples. So remember, passport to success. Well, what the heck is that? Jamie remembers this probably. So we created this. It's a 26-page document. I'm not going to go through all the components of it, but every person who joined my program, I would hand them, physically print and hand them this, because people love getting stuff. Okay. Well, coincidentally in here, I would go through what do I do, what do I don't do, expectations, dialogue. But looky there. Here's a questionnaire. And there's 3 pages of stuff. Some I ask, some I don't ask. I just feel it out. Okay. Basic stuff, I could probably have pre-filled some of this. And other items, as I get deeper and deeper into it, I'm just getting to know them as best as I can, and this is probably the most important page, the third page, because all this is just facts and data, yes, no, whatever. This one, however, what do you want to accomplish with coaching? How can a coach be of best assistance to you? Is there anything going on in your life which your coach should be aware of right now? How can I hold you accountable? What does accountability mean to you? So, see, we're kind of dipping our toes into some of that. How do I win with you? How do I lose with you? Expectations dialogue stuff here. What would you consider to be your top 3 strengths? I'm testing to see if they have any level of emotional awareness or not, including emotional intelligence, sorry, including what are your top 3 areas of weakness or challenges? Be vulnerable with me, because if we can't be vulnerable now, trust me, we're going to get there. And what do you do for fun? So you don't spend a ton of time on this, but at least you have a template. You guys make your own version of this. Maybe you take this and make it a one sheet. Doesn't matter. This is just what worked for me. But I would always, in the expectation section of this, tell them what I did and didn't do. And some of you have heard this before. The acronym is MARS, M-A-R-S-S, MARS. I would communicate to them during this, here's what I'm going to dominate your thoughts. And I would say it with a smirk on my face like I'm doing right now. I'm going to haunt you with these 5 things. Number 1, in this order, mindset. Number 2, activities. Number 3, results. Number 4, skill set development. And number 5, systems and processes. Mindset, activities, results, skill set, systems. MARS, M-A-R-S-S. So I'm sharing with them during the expectations portion of this, when you think of those 5 things, you think of me. I'm your dude. Don't hold back. I'm your go-to source for those 5 things. And I would counter that by saying, here's what I don't do. I am not your broker, compliance broker of record, whatever your state calls that person. I am not your tech guru. Don't ask me about command. Okay. I am not, but here is what I am. I run a coaching program, a performance productivity program. I do not run a cheerleading program. I don't run a contract question compliance program. Now, what I will do, if you come to me with those things, is I will walk you down to the appropriate person and recondition you, retrain you who you need to go to for that. I was very black and white about it. And I had the luxury and great staff around me that I could do that. I wasn't all things to all people. My job was to get your butt in production, create some messes, and then circle the wagons and clean up those messes to turn it into systems. That's my job. You're not going to complain too much if you're cashing checks along the way. Okay. All right. So that was just an example of a questionnaire. I also referenced, and all of you you know how to do this. I'm just sharing some tools. Remember, I said part of this is not just validating their behavioral assessment, but after I do that, I've got to get deep into their why. And some are going to resist it. Others are going to share more than you asked for. Just depends on the person. But I'm going to try and get below as many levels of this as I can. So what is your why? Well, of course, it's my kids, my family. Okay. Well, why is supporting and providing a great life for your kids and family important to you? Answer. Whatever they answer, I use that to fuel my next question. Well, why is that, whatever your answer was, important to you? And I'm just going 7 layers deep, if I can, with this person to get to the real why, not the superficial first answer that they come up with. And again, I'm sure all of you have done this or had it done to you, but that's what I'm saying. This is going on in my first session with somebody because we're connecting and we're bonding along the way. Any questions on that? Questionnaire, validate, a behavioral assessment, dig into their why. From there, if you remember, on the right-hand side, pull up a couple examples here. Oh, Lord, I got too many friggin' tabs. This is an example of productivity contract or agreement that I used. Happy to send it if you guys want it. Do what you want with it. Okay. I didn't really review this too much with them because by now they would have signed it, but I figured for today I was just going to show it to you anyways.
Jake, question on that. So
Mhm.
both of my market centers send their own PC contract.
Okay.
One market center I sign, the other one I don't sign. Would you do something like it is not as in depth as what is here. It's more like the how many transactions and what the
Sure.
fee is,
Sure.
not any of this.
Yep.
Would you either have the market center update with everything you have in this, or would you create this as a separate item and have them sign it at the first session?
The first option.
Have them update it
Yeah.
into the
Because then
original.
it's
Okay.
like, well, which one is superseding the other? It's like federal laws versus state laws. Ugh. We're in the
Okay.
contract business, and that would be my answer. But it might be
Okay.
better you presenting it than the person who onboards agents into Keller Williams.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
you can present it probably differently than your director of agent services.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
So maybe it's like, yes, I think you should modify it, but I think you should be the one presenting it and getting their autograph on it at the same time.
I'm doing all the recruiting in one market center, so that's fine
Okay.
there. And then I have an assistant coach that I feel confident enough
Oh,
that if
yeah.
I went through this with her, that she could present it and
Yeah.
she could go through it. So, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And same with Lindsay. If you're the launch coach, maybe this is something, if you don't already, you handle. Okay. One other example, then we got to move. So this is my Fort Mill one. Well, I ended up changing. It's the only one I could find, but this was the expectation. So separate from, or you could include it in your agreement. Doesn't matter. I had it separate. I don't even know why. Just, hey, listen, I reviewed, we checked every box, check, 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 initial, initial, initial. We sign it at the bottom, acknowledging that you understand part of the expectations of being in the PC program with me include these things. You're committing to doing these things. Okay. So that was Fort Mill, and I've got a different version of it, a generic version right here. Again, anything I'm showing you, I'm happy to share it, and you guys can make it your own. That's the only reason I'm pulling up examples like this. Because you can see this one's different. I commit to making 50 contacts a week. I commit to adding 50 people to my database per week. Got it, got it, got it. So now, 6 months down the road, if they're complaining or not pulling their weight, you go back to documentation over conversation. You can say, actually, pull it out from their file. We talked about this. You signed it. See, that's your handwriting. Yes, got it. We are in the contract business. All right, enough of that. Let's go back to my fancy PowerPoint. All right, so that's session one. Any questions about session one? It's a lot, I know. That's the heavy lift. Getting to know the person, building the rapport. I broke down for you how to connect it with them emotionally, and now a little bit logically at the same time to cover some expectations. Got it? Session two then. A week later, ideally. Okay, before they leave your office or Zoom meeting here, make sure, like we said, establish the success calendar. You should book an appointment from the appointment, Sales 101. Okay, so assuming that happened, next week arrives, session two. This is a shorter, this is not an hour to 2 hours. This is probably 30 minutes. Okay, yay. This is where I would expose the gap, and I have tools for this, but I've got to know and establish a baseline with this person. Some of them are brand new, some of them came from another company and they were like a quarter capper, half capper. We don't know. I need to assess their competency. I need to assess their skill set, their knowledge. Well, that's competency, their mindset. What are they willing to do, not willing to do? All those things. You can see it right on your screen. Mindset, knowledge, skill set, activity. Where are you now? Where do you desire to be? And I need, as your coach, to hit these checkpoints to know, what am I working with? Okay, right? So how do we do that? I've got some tools. Let me share with you in here in a second. We created this wheel exercise. Some of you are familiar with this, a wheel exercise. There's two different wheel exercises, though. So how many of you are familiar with the Wheel of Life? You've done this before at some point? Maybe? Yep, probably. Yeah. That was the inspo. Okay. I was inspired. I'm like, huh, well, that's nice and good for certain things, but to some it's fluffy. And so I need a business wheel, man. So we created two. One is the core competency wheel. The core competency wheel is used for those newer, lesser experienced agents. Okay. This is helping establish the fundamental habits and basic operational knowledge that they have. And we can quantify it. And then if they're a producing agent that joins your program, I may not use the competency wheel. I'm going to use what we just call the agent wheel or the GPPS wheel. Then from there, and I'll show those here in I'll show those here in a second. Oh, by the way, here's another big Y document. Forgot I had that one pulled up to show you. This is from the Coach's Brokerage Archive. What stirs your soul? What's driving you? Typical questions, you guys know. Okay, here's the agent wheel. So the premise here, 30 minutes or less. I'm going to sit with the agent, have this bad boy printed out, okay? And I'm going to go around the clock with them saying, hey, agent, we're going to assess the health and viability of your existing business and identify any gaps and blind spots that we can have improvement on. Starting with productivity. Now, in the productivity quadrant, there are 3 sections: lead gen, time management, and referrals. So agent, what I'm going to do is ask you to rank very subjectively on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 0 or 1 being like, I suck, I don't know what you're talking about. How would you rank lead generation right now in your business? A 2. Okay, a 2. Don't stop. Just keep asking questions. Let's move over to time management then. On a scale of 1 to 10, how you do with time management? Do you time block? Do you stick to the time block? Do you have a system to time block? All of these things considered, what's your score? Well, Jake, there, I'm a 4. Okay, cool. And I just go around and round and round each quadrant. When I finish a quadrant, I add up these 3 total scores and I fill it in this blank up here in the top right-hand corner. It shows me and them, out of a potential score of 30, I'm a 17. Okay, no judgment. It's a 17. Your words, not mine. You guys getting this so far? Okay. What this is doing, as you can probably suspect, is it's doing a lot of the heavy lift for you. It is so tempting sometimes to say, you don't know what you're talking about, you're dumb, you're lazy, you're whatever, these things. But here, a coach's job is often to what? Ask questions leading the other person to self-discover, yes? Are they self-discovering here when I ask them this in a simple rank? Yep. Where am I good? Where do I struggle? What needs more attention from me? So after we go around and have a score for every section and every quadrant, now here's where the magic happens. This is how I do it. You can do it differently. There's 12 scores going on here. 4 quadrants times 3 each. I'm going to go back now through each one and say, all right, let's go back to the productivity quadrant. Which one from that quadrant would you say is the greatest challenge or opportunity right now above the rest? Just pick one. So if I do that for each of the quadrants, now I just took it from 12, which could be overwhelming. Where do I even start? Down to 4. 1 from productivity, 1 from growth, 1 from system, 1 from profitability. 4, not 12. Here's the very important set of 2 questions that you would ask next. Once they pick the one, let's use the example of lead generation from productivity quadrant. They gave me a number. As a coach, I need to go back into curiosity mode. So if I said, hey, Jackie, you scored lead generation of 4. Here's the important question number 1. What does a 4 mean to you? How do you define a 4? Why wasn't it a 3? Why wasn't it a 5? Go ahead, Jackie.
You want me to answer?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay.
I just had to pick on one of you. But
Okay.
you guys see what I'm doing here? If I just write down 4 and we look at this down the road, or it's too vague. Well, what the hell did that mean? I don't know. Critical that you get their words and document their words. What did a 4 mean to you? Very important. Here's the second important question. Great coaches coach to the gap. My job is to find the gap. So here's the question. Hey, Jackie, thanks for sharing what a 4 means to you. Next question. What would have to happen over the next 90 days? Compressed time, not year, not 6 months. No, no, no. What would have to happen over the next 90 days that if we worked together and focused on that lead generation, that your score would go from a 4 to a 6, maybe even a 7? I'm not romanticizing, oh, 10. What the hell's a 10? No, no, no. Incremental gains, 2 or 3 points. What would have to happen over the next 90 days that if I asked you the same question, you would look at me and say, Jake, I am now a 6, maybe even a 7. Oh, you see what I'm doing? Hook, reel them in. When I ask the gap question, 4 to a 6 or a 7, whatever they answer, they just authored their own solution. They just coached themselves. Now your job as a coach is to create a plan to solve for X. You didn't tell them what to do. They came up with it. And when people come up with things themselves, are they more committed to it? Yes or yes? Of course they are. If I tell my child to go clean her room, is she going to clean her room? No, she's going to rebel. We do that too as adults. But if I can make it her idea or put a award at the end of the rainbow, she's now more likely to do it. So does this make sense for you guys? This would be the one to use with an agent who's already in production. The core competency wheel that I show you right here is for brand new or very inexperienced agents because they aren't going to have answers to any. They're basically all zeros on this one. That's a waste of your time. They don't know what they don't know. Okay. So we created the core competency wheel for baby agents. This is very different. Fundamentals, process, contracts, technology. I am assessing their competency on these 12 core building blocks of a real estate business instead. 1 to 10, how do you feel? What's your comfort level? What's your skill set when it comes to buyer consults? A 4. What about listing presentation? Yeah, I don't have one. Probably a 1. What about doing a CMA? I've never done one. A 1, I guess. That's okay. But we're able to quantify and establish a baseline, and you guys can see the rest. It's the same thing I just told you on the prior one, just different categories. Go back through, pick the one, create the plan. You get the idea. Questions?
Jake, so for the competency wheel,
Yep.
this seems to be I love it, by the way. It seems to be though that they're going to come up with 1s or they're going to come up with 2s, and the plan that you're going to create is then going to be to send them back to the training person in the office or to someone else, not you.
Yes, maybe.
Based on these items, based on the items that are here.
You got it. I'm going to go there next. So or here in just a minute. So if they said, out of all of these, where do I need to focus the most right now? Like you're going to distill it from 12 to 4 down to Gary Keller's 1 thing. What's the 1? What's the 1 that if we went from here to here would increase confidence, increase results, whatever you're after? Okay. And then we create a plan for it. So if they said, well, it's all things contracts. My contracts quadrant was the worst. Buyer contracts, seller contracts, and all the addendums, I can't even. I'm like zeros. At least I got 1s in the others. Okay. Then I'm going to introduce you to Betsy Sue, who is our broker of record. And Betsy Sue can meet with you one-on-one. And here's Betsy Sue's upcoming schedule of classes. She's got a contract class going on this time and date. Can you commit to being there?
Okay.
You see what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But they self-discovered the need versus you telling them what to do, which is often met with resistance.
Yeah.
So this, I'm not going to rehash for the sake of time. If you know how to lead people through a wheel, okay, what's the score? Go through the whole thing, add it all up, go back through each quadrant, pick one. What does that score mean to you? What would have to happen in the next 90 days to bump up 2 or 3 points? You get right. Doesn't matter. Now your only thing is, am I using the competency wheel with this person or am I using the agent wheel with this person? Are they in production or are they baby, brand new, and we need to start here first?
I have a question for you, Jake.
Yep.
At what point do you switch from the competency wheel to the other wheel? At how many transactions do you think?
Jamie, great question. I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer for that, but part of what I'm going to share on session 4 and then talking about 5 and beyond might answer that for you. The short answer is you'll know. I mean, based on quantifiable progress, you're going to see their confidence and their scores raising. So I'm going to share a cadence of doing this here in just a minute that I think might answer your question.
Because to me, so just in our program, we are an auto enroll.
Yep.
And we are for the first 4 transactions. No matter how long those transactions take, it's first 4. So my thought process is you do the competency wheel when they first join, and just to see what their knowledge is. And then probably after about 2 or 3, then you switch over and reevaluate to do the other one right before they graduate.
To give you an answer, Jamie, that would be a very, very, I agree. I like that. If you're looking for a one-size-fits-all, probably stick with the competency version for a good 2-3 months or so, or heck, even 2 or 3 transactions, if that's the metric. And then you'll convert to the agent version of the wheel because now they've done business. They know what lead gen and some of those other items actually are, not in theory. Yeah. Jackie, did you have something?
More of a comment. Back to the competency wheel, that would be a good time for them to take out their calendars again.
Yes.
Look at the training calendar and say, there's a class coming up on negotiations. Right. Agent Services has a group training on how to use showing time, whatever, and have them take it out and put those things in it.
I agree. Jamie, what are you pointing at?
Can you go back to that one where it said the primary focus? Can you go back to that screen for me?
You talking about this?
Yep, that one.
Yep. Yeah, I told you I was going to be bouncing all over things today. Yes, that's correct.
That's all right.
So now that you've seen it, competency wheel is the left-hand side group, agent wheel, the right-hand side.
Okay.
Yep. And P.S., here's an example. Here's a calendar of ours from last month. This is what I'm talking about. So when you're meeting with that agent, whether it's during the wheel or in the first meeting, when we talk about building success calendar, you should have your market centers training calendar and your PC calendar, however that's combined or not, with you. Come prepared to the meeting. Like print that bad boy out and it's sitting right next to you so you can say, okay, now here's what we got coming up. This, put it on your calendar. Can you be there? This one, put that on your calendar. Can you be there? Like make it as tactical and real as possible and do it in the moment, not later when they go home. Okay, I got to move fast here. Well, I'm okay if we go a little bit over, but I want to respect your time. Okay, so session 3, what have we done so far? Session 1 was all about getting to know them, validating things, asking the big why questions and doing all that and setting expectations. Session 2, shorter in length, just assessing their competency levels, or if they're a business in business, how their operations of the business are, which is a more advanced version of the wheel. Session 3, a week later now. This is all about numbers. This is all about setting goals. You guys are pros at this. This is nothing new. So now I've got the big why in the baseline. My job from there is to get to know, okay, what's your 1-year goal? What would you like to achieve? 1 year in real estate. All of you have done this, building out a 135, if you will. Well, I do two things to bridge that gap. I do a financial goal exercise with them during this meeting. I'll show that in a minute. And a database plan exercise. That's it. That's what this meeting is for. Probably about an hour. I think 2 would be too much. So here's the examples. I do this. It's basically the written out version of the financial model of the MREA book. Okay. I'm going to ask them what's your goal, your GCI goal. Average sales price. I'm just reverse engineering. I could train on this a different day. You guys should probably know how to do this by now anyways. What percentage of your business do you project to come from buyers versus sellers? And we're just reverse engineering down to the granular. By the end of this sheet, they will know exactly how many buyer appointments and buyers taken, how many listing appointments and listings taken, how many appointments per week, and how many people in their database they need to have. Very granular. Okay. All of you, it used to be the CGI calculator. You probably have your own sheets. I'm old school because I know what some of you are thinking right now. Jake, couldn't you just use AI or put this in Excel spreadsheet? Yes, I could, and I have. However, I love, it's sick, to see people struggle with the math. I want them to have their freaking calculator out, busting through this and letting me help them math this out the whole way, not plopping one thing in and it spits it all out for you. That's just a Jake thing. I just think the more connected they are to the process, the more it sinks in of what's going to be required of them to achieve it. Go ahead.
I guess that kind of answers my question, because I was having them do this because, when you first join, you have a lot of stuff to do, right? Yep. And I tell them to do this. I have a version of this.
Of course.
And then I meet with them and I review it with them after the fact. But you're saying you do it with them.
I do, because it creates a great dialogue. Just instead of it being a homework assignment, I like to be there with them, help them through the math struggles, and talk about how do you feel when for example, you would miss that conversation if you said, hey, you said you want, I don't know, 40% of your business to come from listings. And to do that, you need to bet on yourself, right? So how many out of 10 listings taken do you think will sell? Because I wouldn't put 10, because things happen beyond your control. Things fall apart, deals fall through. Oh, and by the way, if you took 10 listings, or that was the question, I apologize. If you took 10 listings, how many of those do you project to sell? If you went on 10 listing appointments, how many of those would you expect to take? How do you feel about that number? Right? I miss all of that conversation if I just send it away as a homework assignment or in an Excel spreadsheet.
As a new agent, Jake, they're not going to know
Correct.
all of that out of the gate. So are you using the true MREA 50/50 model?
Yes,
when
ma'am.
you're doing this? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I am. And I would draw so I would track my program stats. So I could say, hey, right now as a PC program, we're doing this percent. So if you don't know yours yet, let's use this number for you until you know your own. Does that make sense? And if you don't have that, MREA it up. Yeah. Okay, so that was that. And then the second thing I would do in the same appointment is the database plan. It's not like your lead gen plan. I'm not doing that yet. I'm still in the numbers. I'm heavy in the logic now. So I would go through, hey, we have 3 options here. Option 1 is where you're saying 100% of my business are going to come from my database. Option 2, I don't know anybody. I just moved here. Okay, 100% of your business is going to come from cold lead gen, cold lead database. or the preferred recommended method, option 3, a combination of both. So what I would do is I would carry over from that prior exercise, because now I know how many units they need to close to hit their income goal. And I'm going to ask them, okay, what percentage of 24 units do you project to come from your warm database? For most, just so you know, 80-20, 80-20 rule. So I'm going to write in 80% here, 20% of my business will come from people I don't know yet. Okay, cool. 80-20. Then we go even deeper. So I'm going to take 24 times 80%, and that comes up with whatever the number is. Line D, I'm going to take 24 times 20% and write down that number. So all of a sudden, if I want to close 24 homes, actually 20 of them are going to come from my warm database and 4 are going to come from people I don't know yet. That changes some strategies when we get there. And then I use 5%, a 5% yield. So if I had 240 people in my database, I could reasonably expect at a 5% return, 12 sales. 240 people times 5%. This one is straight out of Gary Keller's MREA book, where he says a 50-to-1 ratio. If you're just going after cold leads, for every 50, you'll eventually get a deal. So now I'm able to take their goal and actually apply a broken down number of people in a database based on warm or cold that I need as a target, which again is going to dictate my strategy later. How am I going to find X number of people from my warm database to close X number of deals? How am I going to find X number of people from cold efforts to close X number of deals that I need there? Some of you might be thinking this is way too granular or overly complicated. That's fair. I'm just sharing again what worked for me. I'm a chunker. I like to break things down to as granular as I can get them. So this is the third session. A lot of coaches do this on session 1. Let's not lose sight of that. You haven't connected with them yet. You don't know their big why, all the things that I shared earlier. Imagine you not doing that and just rushing straight to this. No wonder it feels like a factory, or they claim, oh, I just feel like another number. Because you missed out on a lot leading up to now let's get into your goals. Last thing on this one. Pacing. This is, I hope you guys can stay a few minutes over with me because I'll lay on the plane, but this is so important. I will share this with you. This is in Canva, so you guys can all make it your own. Let me blow this bad boy up. Pacing matters, not just their goals. I have had, and I'm sure you have too, countless people where I bang my ever-loving head against the wall, the immature version of Coach Jake, because I wanted it more for them than they wanted it for them. But it's not up to me, is it? My job is not to create robots. And guess what? Not everybody cares about capping. They don't. Just like not all of them care about profit share. Crazy to you, crazy to me, doesn't matter. I can't insert my bias into the equation. So what I did, I would have this printed out for every person, meeting number 3. And I would review this with them, say, hey, now that we got your goal, I need to know what pace you would like to go at to achieve your goal. So I know where to meet you, how to push you, how to pull you. So I'm not projecting, trying to run you quicker than you want to run. So here it is. Do you want to sprint? Do you want to jog? Or do you want to walk? Are you a sprinter? Are you a jogger? Or are you a walker? They would literally star it or circle it, whichever one they self-selected. And at the bottom, they signed it. And within each one, and you can edit this, it goes through the commitment. Hey, you're a sprinter. All right. That means you're all in with me. Right? Here's what I'm going to expect of you. Boom, 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 boom. And here's what you can expect of me, from me. We're going to go fast. I'm going to be really on your butt with accountability. Or I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. You get it? If that's not for you, maybe you want to jog. Here's what that looks like. If you're a walker, that's cool. We love you. We don't treat you any different. But coaches, from coach to coach here, this set me free. If nothing else, for my own mental health. What I did was I grouped everybody together and I treated them all the same. Well, the reality is it's not favoritism, especially when they author it. I was treating walkers like sprinters. And I was, dare I say, even in group sessions and stuff, treating sprinters having walker conversations. They want higher stuff. They want to go faster. Push me. So this allows you as the PC to compartmentalize the individual, not just based on goals and personality and all the things, but now the pacing at which they want to go at to achieve their goal. Does this make sense? This is so important. One of the biggest things, hopefully, from today, you guys will walk away with. Use this if you like it, create your own. I don't care. But I'm telling you, man, if you don't ask the pacing question and get their commitment accordingly, it's going to lead to some serious burnout for you. Yep. Okay. So that was this part. Calibrating the operational tempo. Are they walk? Are they going to jog? Are they going to sprint? That's all happening, like I said, in the third meeting after you do the goal setting exercise. Last but not least, sorry, I'm over time, is session 4. This is a Jake thing, might answer one of Jamie's questions from earlier. All of you are probably familiar with a GPS, a 135, correct? Like, you know what that is. Because now that I have a goal from somebody, now I have to do what? I got to create a plan. And the plan becomes our conversation. It becomes the action items. It becomes the accountability, which is why I say after this session, session 4, sessions 5 and beyond now take a life of their own. I don't have to systematize those because they're walking out of here with a plan. Now we're going to have that plan on the desk every time we meet because that thing is the conversation, not what you had for dinner last night. Okay. So we have to help them walk out of there with the plan. They've got the 1-year goal. I'm big into time compression. So I'm going to take into consideration their 1-year goal to close 24 homes. But the magic happens, and now remember that little wheel exercise thing that we did? Yep. Now I'm going to compress it into a 90-day focal point. What are we going to focus on? What are we going to work on for the next 90 days only that attaches to or draws a connection to your 1-year goal? It's not like we're going clear over here. No, it aligns, but we're just going to shrink it down to 90 days versus building a 1-year version of a GPS. Nobody follows it. Let's not bullshit each other. Okay. But they will follow something for 90 days because it's like right there. Okay. So our job as they're sitting with us creating their 135, okay, for 90 days only is over here on the right-hand side. Be their thought partner. Don't create it for them. Ask them questions, challenge them, help them create the plan. I can provide examples where needed. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Get their thoughts moving. I got to explore their mindset and their level of commitment to make sure that they're not just cooking up something that looks beautiful, but in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do any of this. And then we got to address any roadblocks. So here's what I have to show you for that. This is what I use. Okay. So all of you should recognize this. 1, 3, 5, GPS, 90-day game plan. It's all the freaking same thing. So I'm not going to pretend as if you don't know how to do this. Okay. Here are some examples. If the agent is just like, I've never done this. I need help. You're my coach. Just help me. Then I will show them some examples of this. Hey, in the next 90 days, my goal is to have 3 homes for $1 million in volume under contract. Okay, cool. Here I got to have 12 appointments. I'm going to host 12 open houses. I'm going to make meaningful contact with my top 25 MVPs. Then you assign the strategies to that. I have an example if they chose time management as their 90-day focus. So I only use these to spur thoughts in conversation, not to say, oh, here you go, just do this. Here in the back of it are the questions I ask them to defend the 90-day game plan. This is cementing their buy-in and commitment. What could get in the way of you achieving your desired outcome? What obstacles or challenges could you have to overcome? How do you intend on overcoming them? Who can help you? And what additional training or resources will you need? I am flushing out all excuses, all the BS right here so we can address it. And then the only thing for the next 90 days is them executing the plan. And you can tie back their big why and do all your coaching magic along the way. So there's an emotional connection between what they're doing and the why behind they're doing it. This is session 4. Create the plan, help them craft it, show some examples, and then you finish it by saying, let me ask you a few questions here to make sure before you leave that you're 100% committed to acting on this plan. Okay. Now, Jamie asked a question earlier. This is totally your choice. Some of you do weekly one-on-ones. Some of you don't do one-on-ones at all. There's such a range on this. The only question from here after these first 4 sessions is now what? How often should I be meeting? How do I, the whole thing? Different class, different day. That's up to you. Minimum. However your cadence is of those meetings in between, here's what I would suggest you do. Every 90 days, you're going to notice a pattern. Okay. At the end of this, so put it in your CRM, put it on your calendar as a reminder to future self. I don't know what you need to do. Okay. But at the end of this person's 90-day game plan, okay, get it on your calendar, just like the military does, to have an after-action review. So that's like a quarterly cadence. And during that quarterly cadence, a couple things are happening. One, I'm going to do a new wheel exercise with them. Let's compare and contrast. How'd we do? Where did you advance? Let's monitor and quantify your progress. Okay, that's day 90, wheel exercise. Hold it up to the prior wheel exercise. Then I'm going to kiss them. Say, what? What did he just say? No, look at your screens. Okay. This is our acronym, not for Keep It Simple Stupid. This is the after action review. Okay. Hey, think back to the last 90 days. What do you need to keep doing? What worked? Think back to the last 90 days. Where do you need to be more intentional? Think back to the last 90 days. What do you need to stop doing? And of course, what do you need to start doing? KISS, kiss it. And by the way, page 2 of this, they can kiss all areas of their life. Financial, business, health, spiritual, family, personal growth, relationships, attitude. If you want to go in depth with it, oh yeah, this is like the wheel of life on steroids. What are you saying, Jamie? Oh, question. I don't see a question.
I want to see the questions. So what do you need to keep doing? What do you need to be
Oh,
more
you're going
intentional?
down. It's me scrolling up. Okay. Yes. Hang on. I'm going to send this to you guys. Don't worry. I got you. Okay. So every 90 days after their 90-day game plan is complete, we're going to review, how'd you do? Did you hit your goal or what's going on? I'm going to do a new wheel exercise with them, whatever appropriate wheel that is. I'm going to kiss it. You now know what that means. And guess what the final thing is? Yeah, we're going to pick the next area of focus and build a new 90-day version of the game plan, GPS. That's it. Rinse, repeat every 90 days. wheel, kiss, new 90-day game plan. Wheel, kiss, new 90-day game plan. Whatever you do and how often you do it for coaching sessions in between, I will leave up to you. But at a minimum, imagine your entire program, every agent taking this on, the first 4 coaching sessions, and then having this quarterly rhythm of new wheel, kiss it, new game plan, new wheel, kiss it. I'm telling you, it is a production factory. It is a capper factory. And it's systematized.
I have 2 questions, Jake.
Sure.
First question, is there any homework that these agents are doing in between sessions 1 and 4 to prepare for like session 2 or session 3 or session 4?
Very, very good question. I didn't include that today because I felt this was probably enough and maybe overwhelming. I did have little homeworky things in between just so they're not sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what I want you to do between now and next week is add 50 more people to your command.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Mhm.
things
The
that you should.
the little things they should be. Okay. Awesome.
You got it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was question number 1. And then question number 2 is, I love this. Number 1, this is absolutely fantastic, and I want to implement it. And you know a little bit of my story, taking on new office and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
How do you take and implement something like this halfway through
Oh,
a coaching program that's already existing and pull people back in? Like,
super easy. Super easy. First of all, you can do it now, and I can give you a script around that. Or if you want to wait or massage people into this, you can use the end of year, new year as the excuse. But for
no,
example,
I want to do it when I come home from vacation. Like, this is like,
right. Here's what I would say at my next group coaching session or whatever, however you communicate with your people, say, hey guys, because I think this is a little just flex or demonstration of role modeling. I think it's important for you to say something like, hey guys, before break, as you may or may not know, I have a coach. I'm part of a coaching brokerage itself. And I attended a recent training that I'd like to implement a new way of operations. I realize that maybe there's a little bit more that we could have been doing, a better way for me to serve you and lead you as your coach. And we can start that right now at any time. We don't have to wait. So I'm butchering the script, but basically, I was a part of something. I was introduced to a new way of doing things and new tools that I want to implement effective immediately. So moving forward, here's what that's going to look like.
okay.
All in the spirit of providing better service to you, helping you achieve your goals more efficiently and faster, and frankly, meeting where you're at, so I know what's important to you, what's not important to you, the pace at which you want to go about it. It's just going to help us create a much more streamlined business for you.
Okay. Love it. Thank you.
You, right? Yeah, you can start this. I don't care, by the way. I use versions of this with leaders, top mega teams. The wheel and some of the stuff I just shared with you, I'm doing with people earning millions of dollars a year. So if you don't think your baby agents are going to get behind this, or it's elementary or whatever, I'm telling you, those people especially love it. Yeah. Ooh, what's Lindsay? She's sending out a video today via text and email to all my agents to encourage them to set this appointment with me to start implementing it. Yes. Love it. Very good. And like I said, guys, I know this is a lot of information. I've got a couple things that I'm going to be emailing you today. I will email this replay. You can put me on 2X or whatever you need to do. I also created an AI summary. So I use Notebook LM for a lot of things. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I already have an AI summary video that's about 8-9 minutes long that'll recap all of this in a punchy way for you. I'm going to include some of the documents that I shared with you today. Okay, so there's all of that. Expect it in your inboxes early afternoon, I would say. Cool. Any other questions or thoughts, ahas from this today? I know I kept you over.
Definitely understand where all of my gaps are, and I feel super confident to be able to go back and put those things implemented.
Yeah, this changes the game. I don't mean
Yeah.
to be cliche, but y'all know how to coach. It's like, but you nail these first four if you subscribe to anything that I just shared with you today. I'm telling you, for you and for them, it just makes everything easier, smoother, more effective, and I think that's what we're all here for. Yeah. Anybody else?
I miss this. I miss you.
Jamie,
miss your
come
face.
hang out with us in the coaches brokerage.
Well, that's
I miss
okay.
your face. Tell
So
Carissa
here's
I
my-
said hello.
I will, and I know she'll say hello back. But that is my one and only plug, guys. I love pouring into the community without expecting anything in return. But when Brittany posts what she posted yesterday, I don't feel bad saying it. So we have
Come
this.
hang out with us.
Yeah, I started a new company about a couple months ago called the Coaches Brokerage. It's just a play on words. It's not an actual brokerage, but it's the Coaches Brokerage. And so we meet every Monday. We're doing masterminds, learning labs, think tanks. We got white labeled resources. It's crazy, and it's $297 a month. So if you miss connecting with other coaches or you crave more conversations like this, it's coachesbrokerage.com. Give it a look. If it's for you, cool. If it's not, that's okay too. I'm going to keep doing these and offering value no matter what. I'm not here to hook you and, Russell Brunson funnel you. It's just not my style. I don't chase people. But
And
you
if
deserve to
guys are
know that
curious,
exists.
I'm happy to chat with you guys about it.
Yeah, Brittany's in it. Jackie's in it. We've got about a dozen people right now. I want to keep it smaller for reasons. But you need to know at least it's available. Coachesbrokerage.com if you want to check it out. And if nothing else, just go there because there's a free gift section where you can get a video of how we created a $1 million coaching business in less than 2 years. It's there. I walk you through step by step how we did it, and 355 questions to ask when starting or running a coaching business. And that was not generated by AI. That was generated by my brain and my fingers.
So
There
I
it is.
have it on my other screen, and what's hysterical is that I see the balloon
Yes.
thing that we did. I'm in that video.
Yes, you are. I know you are.
That's awesome.
Those are some of my best days, Jamie, and I'm trying to recreate that because I miss it.
I miss it too.
Yeah,
I miss it too.
That's what this is for. We're creating a community of coaches. We're going to do in-person events like that. We're going to do virtual summits where we can all have a piece to teach and train agents, and we're creating a directory to drive organic leads and traffic to you that hopefully grows your business.
Is this what you sent me in Facebook Messenger a
Yep.
little while back? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Same thing.
Thank you so much, Jake. I'm like as usual. Love you. Mean it.
Thank you. I love you too. Well, guys, apologies. Sorry, not sorry. I've kept you 20 minutes over, but that means, hey, if you're still here, hopefully you got something of value from it. Reach out to me if I can ever do anything. Check out the Coaches Brokerage and expect an email from me with some of this stuff attached to it momentarily. Cool?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Go crush it today. We'll see you.